Lois Lane, issue 1. Greg Rucka writing with Mike Perkins on the art. So we've got a new number 1, big exciting number 1 to talk about. Start of a 12-issue series, and it's very much set in the world that we're in right now in the DC universe, although Lois does seem to be doing her own thing in terms of the plot, because I know Connor might have been concerned that it was going to be too tied into...
I actually checked with Matt, because if it was dealing with, Event Leviathan stuff, which was maybe a sense I got in the special,
right,
about a few weeks back, whenever that was now. So I did check, with Matt. I was like, okay, how tied into it? He said, it's referencing, the events of Superman, which is fine. But if it was going to be with the event itself, I probably wouldn't have bothered.
Well, no, instead it's dealing with lots of real world stuff, like pretty blatantly.
Yeah.
We have...
It's a Rucka book.
Yeah.
I got to the end, I was like, why was I surprised?
Yeah, we have a death of a journalist in a foreign nation. We have, the White House representative being, basically charged at by Lois in a questioning way at one point, and calling out the bullshit and all the lies. And there is some stuff with Clark and whatnot.
Yeah, which from all the political stuff I consume, that is how you're supposed to, the press is supposed to be, the fourth estate, right? Like they are supposed to hold people accountable. Whereas now news has kind of just become an arm of whatever political party, right? And so the fact that Lois is trying to do what the press should do, that when a White House correspondent tries to shut you down, someone else picks up that question.
Yeah, and she got kicked out and blacklisted and barred from coming back in, and that happened to someone a couple of years ago now, right?
Yeah,
it was a big story at the time.
Yeah, the guy from CNN, Jim Acosta.
Yeah, that was it.
But for basically doing this, for be like, well, no, you need to answer these questions. Yeah. So I like that. I like that Rucka puts in journalism in how it's, quote, supposed to act and what it's supposed to do, instead of, it's the whole tail wagging the dog thing, right? Now they're being jerked around, and because they're so afraid of being seen as picking a side, when what they should be on the side is I don't want to say truth, because that's, in this day and age.
I think the default position for a journalist is the opposite position of whoever you're interviewing.
Right.
Like, no matter who even if you personally happen to agree with them, the default position of when you're questioning should be, right, let's scrutinize that, so you take the opposite angle and kind of prod at them to get the answers. That's just how it's supposed to work.
Well, and see, this is where the real world's going to bleed into this stuff, because with the day and age of the news now, they're afraid of being shut down because they're afraid of losing ratings. When originally news was never about ratings.
Yeah.
But with the proliferation of social media and clicks and all this, that's all they care about now.
Yes, and it talks about some presidential tweets, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not mincing about what they're really talking about here. I do love that Lois at one point could just publish things on Daily Planet's website by herself without any editorial oversight, and she's upset that Perry took her publish button away. He's like, and for good reason. You should be thankful with your spelling errors.
Did you disable autocorrect?
You can.
She goes, you can do that?
Yeah, you can turn it off.
I did love the idea that Perry's like, look, it's not even about the story. You publish whatever story you want, but please send it to someone for proofreading first.
Yeah. Send it to a copy editor first. And I love how he's like, bludgeon is not spelled with 2 O's.
It's just like, isn't it?
And I love that this is, and I don't know how long this has been going on about Lois being a bad speller. Decide being a
forever, as far I can...
Pulitzer.
Well, it's from at least the original movie, because there's a joke in the original movie about it. I don't know if that started it, but it's definitely...
Also, I mean, like, it's been so long now that it's just a core feature.
Much like her purple eye color, I like how it's become an intrinsic, like, Lois Lane.
Do you know what I like about the spelling thing? She'll say, "Oh, how many this letter in this word?" And I then look at the word and go, where does she think the second one is? And I'm looking at it because I'm looking at bludgeon. I'm going, maybe it's at the end. She thinks it's like, bludgeon.
No, she thinks it's BLOO.
Oh.
But as in like blood,
Like blood.
gin.
Blood
Gin.
gin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's what I love.
The
Because she's
next one
doing
got
it
me, though, is
phonetically.
collusion only has one U. Where's the second U in collusion?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's meant to be at the end. It's like the IOU,
Yeah.
and I think that's what she thinks.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Collusion.
Right. Okay.
It just shows how ass backwards the English language can be at times. You know?
But sometimes I can't comprehend to be in a bad speller of that degree because I can't figure out how do you misspell it that badly. Like I can't understand.
Yeah, because for the record, I would classify myself as not a good speller, right? There's certain words that no matter how many times I've had to look up to check the spelling when I'm putting them into a document or whatever, I still don't remember how to spell them. Dear, I don't know. But yeah, Lois the Terrible as well. So she has her deep throat conversation.
Yeah.
She's sending deep throat on, and don't worry, this looked like a question of sorts. But they saved the reveal till later that which question it is.
And again, it's Rucka. Why are we surprised?
I know. I mean that's true. But she wants information because the journalist who died kept backups of her stuff and whatnot in Russia.
We should talk about the journalist
Mention
who
it's
died.
a Russian.
Yeah, as they're saying, it looked like a suicide. I think was what they were claiming.
Mm-hmm.
She's been depressed on the official record, but she was actually bad mouthing the Kremlin. So 3 guesses what actually
happened. And suicide doesn't look like you were thrown out a window. Suicide has a very different look.
Yeah, she fell down an elevator shaft onto some bullets.
Yep.
It's an accident.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, her and Clark have a because there's a reference at the start with the maid, who says, "Oh, you going to have company later?" And she's like, "No, I'm a married woman." It's like, "Yeah, but you had that one kiss." So it's referencing the kiss that's been going around the news in Superman in Action. And later on, some guy calls Lois a slut when she's walking with Clark, and Clark's obviously not very happy about it. And he's like, "Well, I don't like this. I don't like that you're getting all this shit for this." And no one says anything about him. No one says anything about Superman. It's all about you. So Rucka's not.
Well, she goes, "Yeah, because I'm a woman."
Yeah, Rucka's not afraid to shy away from talking about this. So,
I did want Superman to tie that dude's truck in. I don't know if he has a truck, but wanted Clark to tie his truck into a pretzel. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I mean, I think I like it because her reaction to it is obviously she's not happy about it, but she has this different attitude to him because she's at some level used to this, just used to how she's treated, and whereas for him it's like this culture shock almost of like, wait, what? People speak to you this way?
It's an enlightening or an enlightenment to Clark.
Yeah. So sure enough, Renee Question is in Moscow and beats the shit out of the Kremlin's bad guys who are trying to find the info. I
also love the part where Perry is basically telling Lois is like, look, I know you have your Pulitzers, I know you're Lois Lane, but I care about you on a personal level, and I think you dig too deep right now. It's a different time. So I like that Perry. I love that relationship there. It's like, yeah, he's the news editor and he wants to break stuff, but he cares about Lois more than he cares about
doesn't want his report as a risk.
Yeah. So no, I love Renee's introduction here. Actually, she sort of like comes up behind them. It's dark. It's night. It's the forest. We get just the silhouette of the hat, and she just says, "Wrong question." But I mean, she's like, "Oh, my Russian's not very great," so that might not have been exactly my catchphrase. Did my best. And then the scene at the end is the one we talked about with Lois in the White House getting kicked out. But of course, she does get all the other journalists to continue the same line of questioning, so she achieves kind of the upset that she was looking for, in a way. So, and that's the end of the book. It's her walking, head held high from the White House. So I think it's pretty clear the sort of issues we're facing in this book, what Rucka's wanting to explore, even if obviously we're going to be, looking into whatever this journalist in Russia had uncovered, but, outside of that, we don't really know exactly what the plot's leading us in this book, but...
It's the Lois Lane book I've wanted for ages, so I'm super happy.
Are you so enthusiastic, Connor? You feeling it?
Yeah, no, I'm into it. I've been positive on everything in this conversation. Thank you very much.
I'm just asking because you were being quiet. I was.
No, but you said it in a way that implied that I've been positive all this conversation, negative all this conversation.
Ah, you were. I said I implied you were positive all this conversation. Just like you just said. Yes, exactly.
Shut up. It's a slip of the tongue, and you know it.
No such thing. So, what about the art? What about the Make Perkins art?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
It's nice and moody.
I like the moodiness of it. It's not like I like Perkins a lot. I think he's a very dependable artist to this style. I think that he's like a really solid like 8 out of 10 artist for me. You know, I don't think he knocks it out of the park the same way that like a Malieve would have done this book, or
Yeah.
you know.
I think he suffers on the odd facial reaction.
Yeah.
You know, all the stuff with his shadows is phenomenal. But there's the odd face that just looks a bit funny, and I think in a book like this that does matter more than some others.
Mm-hmm. All right, Matt, what are you giving it?
I'm giving it a 9.
9. Connor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'm
going to be a coward and give it an 8.5. So
that's why I couldn't decide what to do, 8.5 or 9. I want to edge above.